Hi, good afternoon. My name is Alejandro. I'm here to present to you, the school board, why standardized tests should be gone from public schools. So I'm presenting to you, the school board, the negative side effects of standardized tests on our students and how it can affect them negatively on their abilities during their academic life. So did you know that students take an average of 112 tests just from pre-K to senior year of high school? And that's just before college. So these tests affect their students negatively, mostly during their young years. So as you can see, standardized tests affect mental health negatively. It has high standards that many students fear. These types of tests also cause many parents to expect a certain score for their child. This can cause many mental issues as students are studying for long periods of time and stressing about a test. It can lead to students feeling insecure about themselves and feeling they're not smart enough, for example. But in some cases, they're also ineffective. Many questions on the test are randomized and may not even cover what a teacher has taught. It's also a test for teachers in a way. They have to teach to enhance positive performance on the test instead of teaching students to fully comprehend the material. Test pressure on students to prove how good they are at the material they covered. Report cards of schools don't reflect the true quality of students and educators. While some people argue standardized tests are beneficial, the test causes a period of stress for students. It also causes tensions between peers and teachers. Teachers making them think that the students are not smart and the students believing that they're not smart.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Don't you think that this kind of test can keep a record of how students have been improving their knowledge? What is your opinion?
So I believe that there are other methods that we can give the students instead of these tests, which show the students' abilities in their academic side better off than these types of tests, as you can see.
Okay, so do you recommend another alternative?
We do have other alternatives for these types of tests that actually benefit the students in better ways. I will be presenting that in some future slides. So, these tests not only affect students academically, but also socially. These tests take a toll on the students' social life and activities. When students are preparing for the tests, many give up important social time and activities that they participate in outside of school. It causes students to have a pick between doing good on a test or doing something that they're passionate about, maybe leaving something that it's important for them aside just for these types of tests. Standardized testing clearly causes many issues in kids and teachers' lives. Students should not be focused to participate in tests that tests more than intelligence, but also test your will and mental power. Standardized tests take a toll on students' free time, social skills, and mental health, and parental relationships. These students should not be dealing with a bad mental health at such a young age and have problems like these at such a young age when they should be learning their abilities during school and other habits that they can learn instead of these types of tests.
They're dealing with a lot of stress, right?
Yes. So a local college student commented on the issue. Julian, a freshman in college, stated, "I remember weeks before the test when our advisors would send our own emails with the date of the test and what room I would take it in. It was just stressful knowing it was coming up, but not being able to do much about it. When I take a test for a class, I can reduce my stress by studying the material I know will be on it. But for the ACT, I felt completely unprepared, which meant way more stress. Julian's experience makes it clear that kids are going to stress over a test when everything has indicated to them that this test determines so much about their future. This causes a spiral in students' minds that causes them to forget why they're learning, but instead just focuses on a test. They're not focusing on learning in school. They're just focusing on the material that's going to be on the test. So, to your question, here I give you the answers. Here's some other ways of captivating intelligence rather than standardized tests. There are multiple measures, of course. It's using multiple forms or platforms to track, gauge, and better understand how a student is performing. There's portfolios, sampling, game-based assessments, social and emotional skill surveys, inspections, low skates, testing. Some examples to show there are alternatives to these tests to capture other students' abilities, not just what every student sees on a standardized tests during their school years. Here's a video explaining my problem with these tests.
Versus Subaru Outback. Look what Santa Fe has and what Outback doesn't.
Did you know that because of the new standardized testing programs related to the Common Core state standards, that public school students will spend more time each year being tested and less time actually learning? For example, elementary school students will spend more time taking state standardized tests this year than a law school student spends taking the bar exam, and more time than the exams required to become a police officer, teacher, or school superintendent. Now, some people say we need all this testing to increase student learning and hold teachers accountable. But what do these tests really tell us about learning and quality teaching? Actually, not much. For tests to provide diagnostic information about student learning, there must be at least 20 to 25 questions for each skill in each standard being tested. None of these new tests have that many questions. To be useful for instruction, teachers and parents need the results returned quickly, and they need to be able to see the actual questions students got right and wrong. The results from these tests are not formative. They're summative, used to monitor, not educate. Also, the results won't be returned until after students finish the school year. Parents, teachers, and children will never be able to see all the questions from the tests. It's kind of like going for an annual checkup at your doctor, waiting 5 months for the results, and not being able to know which test the doctor ran on you. Standardized tests do not provide the in-depth information about teaching and learning that educators, parents, and children deserve. Worst of all, colleagues and I have been able to predict the test results using only U.S. Census data from your community. Using the results from commercially prepared standardized tests to make important decisions about educators and children is education malpractice. School and classroom-based assessments are more accurate. For example, grades and high school grade point average generally predicts college readiness and persistence through college more accurately than the SAT. Report cards and grade point average measure years of work. Standardized test measures 1 day. All the emphasis being put on the results and preparing for these tests is killing creativity in our public schools. Teachers are forced to focus on teaching to the test for fear of their job security. Kids are being denied full access to subjects that foster creativity, socially conscious problem solving, resilience, networking, and other skills necessary to compete in a 21st century economy. Testing is not teaching. Test preparation is not learning. Teachers are the ultimate instruction and assessment professionals. Their expertise can't be replaced by a score on a standardized test. Let's move away from standardized testing and toward authentic teaching. End the myopic focus on knowledge imitation and regurgitation aimed at finding one correct answer, and expand into creation and innovation with problem-based curricula and high-quality, open-ended classroom assessment. Let teachers teach. Let children learn. For more information, go to www.christinkin.com. Pick up a copy of my book, The School Reform Landscape, Fraud, Myth, and Lies. And follow me on Twitter.
So as you can see, the video I showed, it shows how these standardized tests stop creativity on students and other abilities that students can have that these standardized tests just don't show. Okay. Here's some statistics of these tests. It shows the anxiety levels of students rise as the years pass and the standard and so many tests they take during their school years. Or here's another one where they're not developmentally appropriate. It's a percentage of teachers who think standardized tests is inappropriate for students. As you can see, it just keeps going up in different states. We should be helping our students, not burdening them with more stress and anxiety than they can handle produce from these tests. Students already have enough anxiety from other social issues or at home or from their schoolwork. They shouldn't be needing more problems. Students' abilities are not shown during these tests, but instead, more stress and pressure from their peers looms over them. There should be different tasks for your students, not standardized tests. Thank you, School Board. please abolish standardized testing in public schools.
Okay, yeah. So what is your conclusion?
So my conclusion is we need to slowly start taking out standardized testing and start giving other ways of teaching to our students, which can show more our students' abilities on life and creativity, not just on a one-day learning basis. That's my conclusion, and thank you.